Hello, and welcome to another live stream. Today, we are going to be continuing our game of Castles and Crusades as we hope to finish up just our little um, run through the ruins, our coffin run, as we were calling it originally. Um, we do have one thing to note. If you'll notice, Jeff will not be joining us via video today just due to some technical difficulties. But if that's all we have to worry about, we should be able to continue no problem. So, of course, if you've been watching this entire time and you enjoy this kind of content, don't be afraid to like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff to help us in the algorithm. And of course, if you join us for our live streams, we do appreciate when people comment, say hi, do all that kind of stuff. We're a pretty loose table when we do that. And of course, once we wrap this up, we'll be moving on to our next game. We'll have to figure out what that will be. So, you guys ready to see how your characters ended up?
Yeah, I thought we were virtually dead. So
Yeah. So when we last had left our intrepid adventurers on their coffin run, they had run into a room of cooking goblins. A matron or a crone or some elderly goblin type directed their minions to take the two adventurers alive. Maybe had taken to take the two adventurers, in which they were successful. Both Brent and Jeff uh, succumbed to their pressing attack. The goblins overwhelmed them. As I'm still kind of learning how this game is going. So, needless to say, the last thing they remember is the cold, you know, the cold darkness washing over them, and that's where we ended our session. So, for people just catching up, do you guys want to remind people who your characters are and just give them a quick rundown?
Let me grab my character's name. One second.
You forgot your character's name, Lusgren?
Lusgren, that's it.
I like the name.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's been a lot of names lately. So yeah, Lusgren, thief, criminal, uh, inheritor to whatever the fancy book is that we found.
You're adding a title.
oh, that's right.
Inheritor
Yeah,
to the Book of Dragons.
It's fancy for sure.
I think it's fancy.
Okay. And Jeff, what about you? Who's your character?
I just pulled up my character sheet and it's freaking blank. All right, that's great.
Jeff has got a lot of little technical problems. I can send you an image of your character sheet if you'd like.
No, I probably okay. No, it's Solvang. I'm a half orc monk
Okay.
with very low charisma.
Incredibly low charisma. In fact, we appreciate the fact that we rolled dice for all stats here, just so we could see if anybody drew the lucky straw.
In this case, anyway.
We
In
did.
this
My
case.
charisma is 2.
Yeah. So I do think that in terms of rolling dice for stats and everything, it's always mechanically uh it's interesting to see where people land. Some people are good. Some people end up with a 2 charisma, which means they can't talk their way out of a paper bag. So
It means I can't interact with anyone.
not in a meaningful way. You're pretty much the person's just like, follow me, man. And they're like, hell no. Not only no, we're going to attack you. You must be part of the enemy's contingent. Okay. So shall we get this going? I don't know if this will be a long session. We'll see. But we should be wrapping up tonight, no matter what. So as you kind of are slowly starting to wake up, you can sense the air is thick with damp rot and kind of a goblin musk, and it kind of presses in upon you like a suffocating blanket. Suddenly, you each feel kind of something grab and pull your heads up, and something viscous, pretty foul smelling, and alarmingly warm is shoved down your throat. The taste, what amount is able to get in is very rancid It's very sludge-like, and it burns kind of in unexpected ways. And from that, kind of a rush of clarity floods your senses. Your muscles kind of jolt awake with kind of an unnatural vigor. But before you can really react to your surroundings, a couple of goblins squeal in delight and kind of scamper away, their feet slapping against the stone. Um, in this case, mechanically, you've both been just given a drought that heals you for the next part of this. So if you want to mark your hit points as being prepared.
Are we full now?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So kind of like as you wake up, what is your first reaction to like what do you do immediately?
Like assess what are we tied up? What's the room look
Oh, you're
like?
not tied
That
up
sort of
right
thing.
now. No,
Okay.
you basically see the goblin scampering off in the distance.
I try to stand up and assess my, I realize that I'm healing, but make sure I don't have any injuries, and do I have all of my equipment?
hmm Brent, so if Brent, the only thing you seem to be missing is your crossbow.
Okay. I'm trying to look around the room.
Okay.
What does the room look like?
Um, this area that you seem to be in is kind of a wider cavern. You can only assume that you were drug here, like there's no real other way about it. But it looks like the room has been set up in sort of an arena style. That you can see that kind of a goblins sit on like overturned barrels. It's like what would be crumbling stairways, machinery that probably is long forgotten and probably of unknowable purpose at this point. Um, but you can also see that this room, I mean, for whatever this room was originally, it looks as though it's kind of been turned into a makeshift arena. The columns that were originally supporting the ceiling have been worn down with neglect, and you can kind of see goblins in various locations, just kind of talking amongst themselves, pointing, and in your case, Brent, speaking in goblin in a way that you can't see. Um, Jeff, what are you doing while he kind of is looking around? Are you kind of doing the same thing, or
Yeah,
okay? Um,
trying to assess
as,
the situation.
Basically as you kind of are looking around, you see that the kind of the goblin shrill voices are clashing, and their tones are very eager in anticipation. Some of them are having kind of heated arguments and everything like that as they bicker, debating who among you will die first. Some kind of favoring a spectacle, and others kind of saying that it'll be quick, those kind of things. um, no, this it's gonna get them right away. There's no way, even back on their feet. I bet that biggin gets a good few hits in there. Oh man. And of course the squabbles build, and they very antagonistically wagering on how this is all going to go. Once you kind of settle, though, you do notice that in the area you do see that there's kind of like off to the side, kind of a lake-like area, like body of water, and you can see kind of a river that seems to be coming from the like a mouth in the cave. The dwarves themselves had made kind of an artistic decoration, kind of with the sluices and everything like that, to control how much water is typically in there. But it looks as though the mechanisms have been broken down. And you can see that there's also something at the other end. So this lake seems to have been created by the dwarves, probably for some sort of agriculture or something like that. But at this point, you're not exactly sure.
So in comparison, since I have my dwarven senses, in
Mhm.
comparison to where we were, are we up or down?
You're down. You down to probably the lowest, one of the lowest levels of what would be considered the port before you got into like the deep tunnels.
Right, where because the map said that there was a body of water that we could escape out of.
Yep. And so, what your eyes eventually do settle on is that there is a cavern that kind of is a little bit higher on the wall, and you're not sure if it's it's basically an opening to a tunnel, but could also be a cavern. Um, and you see that there are kind of thick strands of webbing clinging kind of to its edges, shifting kind of ever so slightly in the breeze that kind of flows through this reservoir area. Do you guys do anything at this point, or
Well, I mean, there's people with like weapons threatening us, right? Like what?
oh, they're that nobody's threatening you at this point. They're all just kind of sitting, or they're kind of they're. It's kind of like a people watching a spectacle about to happen.
They're expecting something to come.
Well, yeah, but if we can get into the water, we can get out according to the map.
Start running.
Yeah, so we start making it towards the water.
Okay.
If there's no one
Uh,
that has weapons that are going to shoot us down or something, then yeah.
Not that you could see. So, so basically just like you see what's going on, and then you basically sprint towards the.
Yeah, we start making in that direction. Yeah,
Okay.
it happens.
As you can tell, as you can see, kind of like stepping out from behind some other goblins, that kind of matron goblin steps forward, and she's kind of looks over at you, and she's like, "Ah, it looks like the energies return to their bones. Ah, my children died hungry, but tonight, the revenge is cooked into the pot. The spiders shall prepare the meat, and at last the feast worthy of these old halls shall begins." And with that, she takes out this little wooden whistle and kind of blows on it, um, kind of a pitch that kind of, I would say, is just above, like it's like just that level that's almost above your hearing, but also you can kind of hear that high pitch out of it, almost just a squeal. And there you go. So you're running. You're gonna run towards the reservoir. You're gonna go into that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jeff, what are you doing tonight?
I'm following him.
Okay.
I think we basically looked at each other and that we had that conversation. What we
Yeah,
said.
we already had the conversation. We're definitely.
As
not
he
going
said,
for
they're
run.
expecting something to come, and I said, yeah, but if we can make it to the water, we can get out, according to the map.
Okay.
This is a get rich or die trying moment.
Okay. So basically, as you're running towards the water, Jeff is obviously going faster than you. A, as a monk. B, as a long-legged person. You're going much slower. But you can hear the goblins jeering and like.
Well, technically, how far
like
away is it? Because
how
like,
far-
how fast do you run, Jeff?
35 feet. Well, that's how fast I can walk 35 feet.
Right, and if
But
you
then
run,
again,
it's double that.
you can actually sprint up to quadruple that.
So he's gone, and I'm left in the place.
Well, I wouldn't be trying to outpace him. I would be trying to run with him.
Okay.
Since he's the
So
one that has the sense of direction.
it's true. It is very true. So what you see when you get there or what you see is that it's probably going to be about 2 rounds running at a full sprint to get there. And of course, at that time that the whistle is blown, pretty much immediately from that little opening with the
Jeff can run 105 feet in 6 seconds.
Is that a lot? That's
That seems like a lot to me.
It's only 30 yards.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely like NFL sprinter level, isn't it? Like, but I mean, he's not very charismatic, so you got to give him something.
3.42 seconds is the record. So he's double that. He's double the world record.
Nice. Let's go.
So that's pretty fast.
Fantasy game. No dinosaurs, fast sprinters.
I was
Woo.
just like, wait a minute, that's fast. But anyways, okay.
Oh yeah. So moving at your speed though, Brent, it looks like it would take about 2 rounds to get to the body of water. Um, Knowing what you know, it's less likely that the sluice that is kind of like the where the water is coming in is going to be your way out. It's more likely going to be the other direction. So you do have a good idea which way will probably get you the to an exit that you're there. The only thing you are worried about is the fact that there could, with this being a sluice and a gate, you're not sure exactly what you're going to find over there.
I mean, the water flows out of them, right? Is that what you're saying?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, big spider though. So spiders are really fun in so much as that they creep the shit out of me. And I don't know if I'm like the only one. But it's basically got a fairly large body with just nasty long um nasty long legs that as soon as it kind of like the goblins aren't really moving or anything like that, but as soon as it sees you guys sprinting across the open area there, which probably used to be some sort of fields or something like that, it kind of just takes off. Its legs just kind of grabbing at the earth and kind of moving very quickly. Spiders are quick little fuckers too. So I'm gonna need some initiative from
Are
you
they world
guys.
record fast?
The spiders I were able to find. You know how fast you go, Brent or Jeff?
It's actually 35 yards. 105 feet is 35 yards. And the record was set in 2024, and it's 3.99 seconds.
So he's going 6 seconds, right? I mean, isn't that
6 seconds is a round, I assume.
yeah?
But that's still fast, Mike.
I'm just saying.
Double the absolute fastest person in the world is still pretty fast.
Let's go. I'm a monk. I'm a half-orc monk. Let's
Wait, now we're in the weeds on this. You're saying so. So first of all, Brent, he goes 35 feet per 35 foot per round if he moves. Then he can double that to 670. Then he can quadruple that to run. So that's 140.
Quadruple that. It's faster than that because I was doing
140.
triple. I was doing triple.
Okay, so 140 feet in meters is 42 meters. So in 6 seconds, world record 40 meters.
Oh, it's just a D10, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a D10. I thought it was
so the world record for the 40-yard dash, which is roughly 36.6 meters, is 4.21 seconds, and that's what you're talking about, Xavier Worthy, who I don't know. Anybody that knows football,
I know Xavier Worthy.
But we're saying that Jeff goes. We're saying that Jeff goes
in
42
6 seconds
meters in 6 seconds, and we're saying the fastest person goes 40 meters in 4 seconds. So he's not double.
Yeah, that's pretty average. That's pretty average.
Yeah, like you're like Xavier would have a cup of coffee.
6 seconds is pretty slow.
Yeah,
for an athlete.
Well, yeah, I mean, as like for me, that would be I would just have a heart attack halfway there. But he's not world record setting. Now that we're in the weeds on this, because Jeff is only running. Let's see, 42 meters divided by. Fuck. 6 times 4. 42 divided by 6 times 4. He's only running 28 meters in 6 seconds. Or 4 seconds. So he's actually, Xavier would be beating his pants off. So it's not as fast as you think it is, but it is still fast as fuck. Sorry, Agile.
Sorry.
We're doing the math on this.
I think he's in top 10. Sorry. Fastest
maybe.
in the world. World record setters.
All I'm saying is now that we got the math out, it is still impressive, but he is not double the fastest person alive.
Right.
No, that's not what I said. I said the fastest person is double him is what I said originally.
Oh, sorry, I took it the other way.
No. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, so he's still fast. But he's now running at your speed, which is 80 meters, and so 80 feet per round, which is 24 meters. So basically you're running 4 meters a second, which is much slower. Okay, so can I get some D10s, or did you already roll them and I just didn't see
We
them?
already did.
Oh, okay, I just didn't see it because apparently I closed Discord. Due to our many technical issues,
Jeff rolled a 9, I rolled a 2.
Okay. And it rolled a 5. So at this point, you can have one more full round of charging to get to the lake. But it runs, since Jeff is not trying to leave you behind, kind of like the whole bear analogy where, the slowest person gets to be bear food. That it is definitely outpacing you. Its long legs are going through, and it's skittering along much faster than you guys are. Going approximately double your speed, Brent, at that 20. Oosh. So you do think you could get there at the same time as it, but it's probably going to catch you at the reservoir at this rate.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say we keep moving then.
All right.
Yeah. And I just tell you to keep going. Whatever happens, just get out.
Okay.
As far as I know, spiders aren't great swimmers.
I don't think there are great swimmers. But I did watch a nature video on spiders, and they apparently there was a spider and a wasp fighting. Somehow the spider got away, and it turned into a wheel. They're called like golden wheel spiders. They just kind of roll down the hill, and then a lizard got it. So it was just one of those. So really kept me on the edge of my seat. That 1 minute long, too short about a spider and a wasp. But okay, so you guys are chasing, running. You can hear its legs just kind of like hitting the floor with these kind of heavier thuds, that kind of rhythmic, as it's running, all those legs tapping on the floor. The goblins themselves basically taking whatever they could find, rusted shields, broken bones, dented pots, anything that they could make noise with, and they start making like rhythmic poundings, just kind of like a slap, pound, 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 pound. And you can hear them kind of like almost creating a crescendo to the thing chasing you. They're kind of excited with it getting closer.
So rounds are 10 seconds in Castles and Crusades. So it's like he's.
Oh yeah, so you're even slower, Jeff. I'm sorry. So
okay.
now you're just average. Jeff and Brent is just slow.
I still think that's incredibly fast.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to judge. Because like I said, I'd have a heart attack instead. Just 10 feet out. So this round, roll for
initiative again.
Initiative, please. Oh, I got 2 5s in a row.
I got a 4. Brent got an 8.
Okay. So between the two of you, which one of you looks like the tastier morsel?
I look like the bigger one, so on a visually activated thing, I'm sure it's me until I turn around and stare at it and go, "Ugh!" And then
Okay.
it.
So Brent, you go first. What do? You basically you both sprinted as fast as you can. Sweat is pouring from your brow in this sunburst of activity. You hear the footfalls of the spider as it's literally charging upon your position. You can.
I'm not stopping until it catches one of us. So.
Well, I'm just saying you're at the like edge of the water. So
Oh, I go in the water.
okay. Ooh. The water, as soon as you start to wade into the water is thick with like algae and um and just kind of like gross, like basically slime and everything like that. It doesn't it feels cool to your touch, and you can see that it's getting deeper as you move out, kind of like you're just basically moving into it, right?
Hmm. Well, I
Okay.
mean, I'm planning on letting it carry me out of the. That's what I assume it's going to do. If I drown,
Okay.
that's fine. But I'm assuming it'll carry me out of the mountain.
It doesn't seem to have the speed that you would expect it to have, but like it's not like you step into the water and instantly get rushed away, if that makes sense.
Well, no, but I'm following the direction of the water, so.
Okay. So as you're going your knee height, you're kind of like getting a little bit deeper and deeper. Um, Jeff, since you're still on land, it's going to attack you.
Sure.
Okay.
It is welcome to try.
Okay. 19.
Hits.
So basically, as it closes in on you, you can kind of feel like, that kind of like a sensation, that tingling at the back of your neck when you're near a spider. I guess all people have that, right? And the spider takes its two very large what the fuck are they called? Like its
Mandibles.
fangs, and they're kind of like these big bulbous things with like a crimson end, and these fangs just kind of retract and they just right in. And as soon as it bites into you, like the fangs shoot into you, the goblins just erupt in a huge cheer. You probably want to know the amount of damage I do, right? 7.
Okay.
How many hit points do
Okay.
you have again total?
13.
13. Okay. So basically, as it looks like in this case, those fangs found a rather meaty part of your body. Um, okay. Now you don't like. Now does not appear to be injecting you with any kind of poison, but you do feel tingly at the wound. So there's no save or anything like that, but you do feel something weird. Hmm.
It's called death, Jeff.
No, what was more the inspiration for this is, how some people inject meat with seasoning? This is their huge meat seasoning injector. That's fucked up. Okay, so Jeff, your turn. You've got a spider on top of you.
Am I prone or anything, or am I still standing?
You're still standing. I mean, because 7 doesn't take you out or anything like that.
Well, I have two choices. I either try a stun attack or I dive into the water and swim away.
Well, seeing me, you can tell that it's not very easy to swim.
Okay, I'm gonna try the stun attack.
Okay.
Once
And
per round
that's
per level per day.
ooh.
So here goes nothing. 14.
14. Okay, sweet. You land a hit on its kind of furry hard carapace. And what does a monk's stun attack do?
He is stunned for 4 rounds.
Oh, wow.
I just rolled the d4. It's 1d4 rounds, but
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. And you can't use that. So stun attack, stun once per round, per level per day for 1d4 rounds. That was a pretty big roll for you right there, buddy. Okay.
it seemed to
So
buy us the most time in the slow-moving water to get away.
Yep.
okay, so basically using its proximity, how do you do a stun attack as a monk?
I mean,
Like
he basically knocked it out.
you just like judo chop
No,
it,
it's just like a right hook in a
This feels
UFC fight, and he knocked it out, or the
Yeah, or an
camel,
uppercut.
or the camel in Conan.
I'm just curious as to how he does it. Like what's his preferred like?
Well, from
does he-
underneath, it's such a big spider. From underneath, it feels kind of like an uppercut, maybe a cross right on the soft part of the jaw.
You gave it your weak arm, and then just plowed it with your other hand.
Yeah,
So you basically however you apparently did a perfect feint. You exposed its
No, it wasn't a perfect feint, because in a perfect feint you don't get hurt.
you don't get hit for 55% of your hit points.
Yeah. A
That's
perfect
true.
feint, you don't get half knocked out yourself.
That's so okay. So that's fair. You did do a perfect. You just got bit, and then did a perfect counterattack, stunning the spider, much to the amazement of all the goblins who were at that moment hooping and hollering. But as soon as you did your stun attack, you see the spider kind of like reel back. Its venom, or not venom, but it's pierced.
Its fangs go cross-eyed.
Yeah, its fangs come out, and it kind of like his mouth wiggles a little bit as it kind of like backs up a moment and kind of falls to the side, landing close to the water. Um, the goblins kind of get stunned into silence, and they're like, "What?" And all of a sudden, Jeff, you hear calls like, "Hey, that's not what's supposed to happen! What the hell?" And you start seeing goblins moving in your direction. Okay, so next round, I'll give you 2 rounds. So let's start the tracker here because now I've got apparently multiple things to track. A pencil? Of course not. So 4 rounds for spider. Say it's about 2 rounds for goblins. Okay. And so why don't you guys, since we got 2 rounds of just kind of like you guys determining what to do, what is your next step?
I'm grabbing him and helping him down where the water's flowing so he can try and get out.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we'll swim in the water if we have to.
All right. So as you kind of like get out into the muck and it gets higher and higher, you can tell that the water is just viscous and oozy. So it's not as fast as you can normally swim, but you are making your way through it. Imagine, like when you see people walking through like not that viscous mud where they literally have to plant their foot and do all that, but it is hard to push through.
Yeah, it's like a bog.
Yeah.
Got it.
And so as you make your way, you can see kind of at the end of it this old broken down kind of grate that is there. It looks like the grate has been lowered, but it looks like a mechanism that they use to kind of control how much water was being retained by it. Right now, what you can see is that it's kind of gone over the sluice, and so there's enough that's going that enough water that seems to be draining from it as to prevent the flooding of this chamber. But that's also why it probably wasn't as deep as you thought it was, is because your own dwarven knowledge is that it probably flooded out into kind of like an emergency area in case it got backed up, and then it went over a gap in the sluice. Unfortunately, the gap isn't big enough for you guys to go through. But you can see that there are mechanisms that are used usually for raising and lowering it. You're just not sure how much they operate at this juncture.
Okay. Well, I mean, when we get to it, I'm gonna try and work the thing first before
Okay.
we try and brute force pull it down before we die.
All right. So first things first. How are you trying to brute force this?
We're not. Is there a? You said there's a lever or a mechanism, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna try that first.
Okay. You see, as you pull the mechanism, it seems like it gets stuck a little bit. I'd
I'll
like you to
have
make a
him.
strength check for me,
Oh,
or someone make
My
a strength
strength's
check.
11. What's yours?
I think we're the same strength. Yeah, we're the same strength.
So does it
Okay.
count as a 22 if we pull together?
I don't remember seeing if there was like an
Nope.
assisted.
I rolled a 9, so
Okay.
Well, then I guess I will try the same strength check.
I don't think either of you took strength as your primary stat. So the difficulty is
No,
rather
we
than get
didn't.
like a
I
60.
didn't. So this is gonna have to be super high.
right. We're not strong guys.
And I
Mhm.
still get my level though, right? I still get +1.
Mhm.
Oh,
A 3.
well. Yeah, I rolled a 10. So
Hey, Brent, I tried, man. I don't know what to say.
So what basically both of you pulling on this find that it's probably rusted beyond what it is. However, Brent, you do see that as you guys are pulling and everything like that, there is probably a way higher up that you can maneuver, that you can if you could work on it, you might be able to get the chain to kind of like release from without a lever, using some of your trap skills and everything like that,
yeah,
disabling
my
traps and all
locksmith skills. So yeah, I'll try that. That's what I was hoping could translate to this.
that.
So
Okay. All right. So while Brent's off doing that, so the goblins are arriving this round. There's 3 goblins that were faster than the other ones. And there are some goblins that are obviously going to the spider, not exactly sure what happened to it. Jeff, what are you doing?
I will defend Brent, I guess.
Okay. Form
so
a
it's the trap
indomitable.
stuff that's gonna get us out, not open locks.
Oh, I guess you can make a case for either one, disable trap versus open lock. What would be your
Open
thought
lock, because
there?
I don't. It's because deactivate traps is intelligence, which isn't a primary stat.
Okay. Yeah, sure. We can use open lock. We'll have to do that next turn though, and we'll let
Okay,
this
yeah,
turn
that's
go.
fine.
So roll some d10s for me.
Nice.
Cool.
Lull him into a false sense of security.
Okay. So all 3 goblins go. Um, and Jeff and then Brent. So okay. So all 3 goblins are charging Jeff. So that's
Yeah, I'm spending
rather
all around getting in position to try and get the thing open.
okay.
That's my narrative reason for going last.
You're just like, focus. I can do this. Got to pull all those lockpicks out of your beard. That's where I would have carried lockpicks if I had a really massive beard. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. So can't find Discord. There we go. One second. I'm just trying to make sure. So I apparently forgot every bit here.
Every bit of everything.
Okay, I think so. Actually, 1 does look like it hits because your armor class is not 11, is it?
Mine is, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely 11.
Okay. take, looks like 3 points of damage.
All right, I have suffered 10 points of damage. I have 3 hit points left.
And that's basically 2 of them just like running up into you and just starting like wailing on you.
Sure.
Okay. And then the other one obviously couldn't find purchase since the other 2 kind of like leapt on you like little screaming banshees. Okay. Jeff, your turn. What are you doing?
I will fight back.
Okay.
Hey, I rolled another 3. So
I'm
Brent, it might
impressed.
just be you getting out of here.
Well, hopefully the water washes us down the hill or something.
So needless to say, what it seems like happened is that like the 2 goblins leaping on you and a third one just trying to grope at you to find some way to drag you down as well, was apparently too much for you to really adequately counterattack. And so the goblins haven't really grappled you or anything like that. They kind of like they're scrambling on you and they're kind of in that frenetic level of combat.
Well, they're apparently biting him or something because they're not just grabbing him. They did damage. So
yeah, they're smashing with their fists. They're doing all kinds of stuff. They're not monks, so it's just it is subdual damage, I guess. But Brent, your turn. What are you doing next?
I'm not doing anything but working on the door. If you want me to roll for it, I can.
All right, roll for it, please.
Or unless you want that to be next round.
You can roll for it this round.
Nope. We're not getting out of here alive.
It seems as though working under duress, Brent was not able to get the mechanism to trigger to basically lift the gate up. So, all right.
Guess we'll try it again next round. Hopefully Jeff's still alive.
Okay. So, at this point, go ahead and roll me some D10s. Oh, good. Oh, there's one D10.
Hey, I gotta do my roll right away.
Nice.
Okay, so I got 2 6s and a 1.
So here's my roll working at the latch since I rolled a 10. I rolled a 17.
Ooh. So because this is your primary skill, right?
Yep.
So you get so just so everyone is aware, like this is what I find is fascinating about this is that because it starts off as a base difficulty of 12, plus you get add your level plus your ability modifier. That's where you get your +3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so then once you've done that, then I add a number between 1 and 10. That's the one thing I'm a little bit I think as a keeper that I'd probably have to practice on is knowing where in that 1 to 10 realm is. But I had just given it a 4, so difficulty was 16. So after a moment of prying at it, you actually are able to get it to like unlock, and you hear what effectively is like a counterweight like kind of snap into position and just start dragging on the 2 massive chains, and you feel the thing just kind of like Jeff, you notice the goblins are surprised as fuck as they see like what's happening behind you and like everything starts shaking because it's such an old mechanism that the gate itself is causing the area around it to kind of shake and shimmy and stuff like that. But the one of the guys is still going to attack you. One of the other guys is going to stand back and kind of wondering what the hell is going on.
Isn't there 3 of them?
What's that?
Isn't there 3 of them?
There is, but the other one goes after Jeff.
Oh, okay.
7.
That misses.
So kind of his surprise and everything like that. You can see that his attack is half-hearted and not with the full with what he needs to get you. It looks like the gate is going up. You can see that it's probably going to as the gate's going up, water is starting to go out faster and faster. You can kind of see that kind of vortex forming as the water is, kind of getting sucked out. Jeff, it is your turn.
I guess I will attack one.
Okay. Ooh, you
16
hit.
for 2 points of damage.
Okay. Let me take a look and see what they have. Let's see. Okay. You bash that goblin. Nice.
Bash him real good.
You bash him. He seems to slump into the water itself, and he doesn't seem to get out. The other goblin screams, a kind of a blood curdling cry. You apparently attacked his friends. These people probably were right next to each other as the games were started, and he attacks. Ooh, for 19.
That's a hit.
For 1 point of damage.
What do you have? 5 left?
2
left.
At this point, you can see in the background, like the spider kind of coming to. The goblins around it that were trying to figure out what was going on with the spider are instantly surprised as it bats them away with its legs, and they start squealing back. You hear the matron in the back screaming commands that you can't really make out in all the chaos and everything like that. Roll for me a d10. Oops. I don't know what I just did there.
I got a 4.
Okay, 9 and a 2. So it goes 1 goblin, Jeff, 2nd goblin, Brent. Right? All right. So
Indeed.
first goblin attacks Jeff. $18.
It's
2 points of damage.
So Jeff's unconscious.
Okay. Jeff goes down under the fierce barrage of multiple goblins and a significant spider bite. So that means it's the other goblin's turn. The other goblin looks at you, Brent, and tries to close the distance. And attacks you with its fist for it attacks at a 2. Armor class is not 2, is it?
No.
Okay. What do you do, Brent?
So where's the gate? Like, can we get under it now?
You're not sure. The gate isn't above the water, but there is water moving that you can see going through it. That you can tell that it's moving much faster.
I'm gonna go under the water and try to see if I can get through the gate and drag Jeff Soulwing with me.
Okay. So you go grab him and then just basically leap into the vortex.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what is your strength? What is your strength, you said?
11. We're both 11.
And Jeff, what is how big of an orc are you?
I'm hoping the water helps.
I'm just trying to gauge where Jeff is.
Yeah, like an average sized half orc. I wasn't massive, but I'm bigger than a human.
Yeah, did you actually go through and give yourself a height and weight and all that kind of stuff?
I actually did not, because it almost never comes up. Sorry.
Just I was just kind
Like
of
so many games
curious.
are like specifically like they want to know,
Well, yeah, it
and
usually
it
doesn't come
just
up.
literally never come up.
Yeah, I think it was actually in here at some point. I want to say that I
There's
saw
a
it.
there's a range.
Usually,
I'm willing to go perfectly center of the range.
usually people aren't so low with strength that it matters as much as it's going to at this point.
Okay. Why don't you roll for me
One, sure.
a strength, a attribute check, a strength check, because you're doing this under duress.
Nope.
What'd you roll?
10.
Okay. So basically, how it happens right now is that as you pull him into the sludge, and it seems as though you're going with him real slow. As you get over to the vortex, um, that seems to be drawing everything down. Um, you kind of you kind of get sucked in much more quickly than you had anticipated, considering the water didn't seem like it was moving that fast. Um, and you let go.
What
You're
are the
not
rules for
sure.
drowning? I mean, he is unconscious and under the water now.
He is unconscious and under the water, or maybe he is. Who knows?
I mean, he's definitely unconscious and he's sounds like he's definitely underwater. So I think we all know that. What the rules for
Well,
drowning are in Castles and Crusades, I don't know, but it seems pretty grim at this point. Sorry, Jeff.
Hey, things happen. It was called the coffin run.
well, needless to say, so basically, as it as it stands right now, you just are literally you feel like you get sucked in. Now, the sluice itself, um, it was open, but as you kind of go through, you kind of bang yourself on it, and then it is just like you're in a water slide effectively. You're not sure exactly how far you're traveling, how quick. It's hard to get water.
Good
It's
enough
hard
for
to
me.
get air. You're not sure if the goblins are there, but you do know as you were going through, you could see the spider possibly trying to eat goblins. It was not very happy about the entire situation, and they were trying to get their tamed beast back into its cave. Um, Jeff, glub 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 glub. It's hard to say exactly what you're feeling right now. After
Or
a
that
few
your
moments,
unconscious body isn't going to be dashed for minus 10 points of damage on the way out, on the way tumbling down the violent,
That's true.
gooey water slide that we're on now.
After a moment, though, you do kind of like you do basically feel the like all of a sudden it's getting lighter and lighter. Or I say a moment, but time is obviously very odd in this. You don't know how long it's been, but you literally just shoot out of an opening into a kind of a
Off a
wide
mountainside, down into a ravine, we
into,
die.
into a lake, and you get kind of like a you land into this water, this murky water, um and not too much later you kind of feel the presence of an orc coming in your direction, kind of dead weight, just ragdoll as he kind of lands into the water. um I assume you're going to try to grab him, I guess.
Yeah, I'll try and grab him and swim to whatever shores nearby. Since we didn't
it,
splatter on rocks or anything.
No, neither of you splattered on rocks, luckily enough. As you swim, you pull him aside. You basically can tell that
I climb up on his body and use him as a boat to get to the shore.
he doesn't
I'm just
seem very
kidding.
buoyant.
I'm just kidding. I drag him as best as I can back to the shore.
Jeff, your spirit feels violated as the dwarf tries to turn you into a long ship.
I'm kidding. I don't do that. Although it would be funny.
Dude, I would have jet climbed on me and surfed.
Windsurfing on an orc, that's a thing. So as you make your way to the shore, you can tell that he's kind of cold and clammy. Do you have a medical skill of any kind?
No, they don't have those. We don't have skills in this game. Remember?
That's right. That's
And I have an
fine.
intelligence of 8 and a wisdom of 8, so I assume I don't know anything about. I mean, I can make a roll for it if you'd like.
you just like shake him and just kind
Here.
of try to get him to wake up, and eventually, after a
I
moment,
did roll a 19.
you apparently shaked him just right, and he kind of just starts sputtering. Jeff, you are unconscious and you don't feel great, but you can kind of see light. What do you do?
Somehow I drug your spirit back into your body.
I cough.
I roll you over on your stomach and like I'm pounding on your back, so whatever water's in your lungs gets out. Somehow I don't manage to do enough points of damage to kill you.
That's fair.
That's funny.
So we're sitting on the shore, you vomiting water as I sit next to you. I'm saying, well, we made it out.
You made it out. You have no idea where you are. You're in a mountain range.
I think that's that's like the perfect way to end a movie. That would be like the scene that the camera's on us and like pans out as we're just sitting in the middle of nowhere. him unconscious on the shore and me sitting next to him.
Yeah, basically, like that's where we're gonna end this. And
holding a very expensive book in my hands.
You've got a big, really expensive book. You've got an orc sputtering on the ground trying to get the rest of the algae infested water. Who knows? Maybe there's something else in it.
That's a tomorrow problem.
As the camera pans out, you can see that the spine breaker prison sits atop this mighty citadel, sits atop this mountain, looking kind of down at you. You can tell the warden's eyes are on you, knowing that you did escape the coffin run. Dun, dun, dun. Fade to black.
Hey, we lived.
That's almost amazing. I thought I was dead for sure.
I did do the Hail Mary 19.
That's true. That was the Hail Mary.
The 19 intelligence for resuscitation.
That's true.
Crazy.
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't know if that would actually work or not. So,
well, thank you for letting me roll for it.
I assume it was just a wisdom check or I mean, for your case, either one.
Either one, same thing. Yeah. My dwarf now knows how to speak languages that he never wanted to learn either.
You're like, as you're opening up the solution, you're like, I know Goblin.
It's kind of the same thing.
Whatever. I assume that everybody has kind of a playbook that they've got if they see somebody drowning. Whether or not it's successful is a different story. Like,
it's not the drowning part. It's not the drowning part. It's the unconscious underwater part that's bad.
Yeah. Maybe good. Hard to say. Maybe maybe I don't know, man.
There's healing potions that they poured in their sewer water that helped you out there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now you just have to worry about all the muck and stuff that you swam through, all the diseased waters. That's what got you in the end, is the diseased waters.
Yeah, the prologue is dysentery.
Oh, probably, yeah.
The prologue is dysentery and Giardia, where we die in the woods.
You're making it back to civilization. Oh no, he shit himself to death.
Right, exactly. We Oregon Trail that shit.
That's one way to do it, I guess.
Your party has died of dysentery.
So there it is. Just a short adventure in Castles and Crusades. Well, it was a good system.
It was fun.
I think. Well, we're going to formulate our thoughts and put out a video later this week. But I think for running a fantasy game, I'd be curious to see what their setting feels like. Irda or whatever it's called. Just to see what the flavor is and everything. I just didn't. This system does suffer from you need lots of books to really get the full flavor of the game, because you need to, if you can get the player's handbook and you can at least get started, but then you don't have any monsters or anything like that to throw at them, really. And then
they seem to have split up their books so they can make profit.
Yeah,
right. That's what it seems like. That's one of the ways that gaming companies make money, is they just put out. They have to keep making books, because they run a business where, well, we made our game. Hope people buy it forever.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Reforged edition is like the 10th edition or something like that.
So well, yeah, I mean, putting out editions is the other way, but like that's yeah.
Yep. So it was, I mean, but it was fun. I mean, I'm curious, like I'll be curious to like hear your guys' thoughts on afterwards, because like the way that they resolved so much stuff in there was like almost deceptively easy. I think they called it the seed system, but it's
Deceptively
like
easy. I think you should
it
go
doesn't.
back and look at how many rolls we failed.
Well, I'm not saying you succeeded. I'm saying understanding the
Oh
conflict
yeah, no,
resolution mechanic is easy.
no,
Like,
yeah, okay, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's and I'll elaborate on this more, but it straddles a nice. I think it straddles a nice area between where fifth edition is right now and where OSR kind of is. I think it's like
mhm.
really like it's almost like dead in the middle, from simplicity's sake, and that was kind of nice.
Yeah, it does. I mean, there is a part of me that really wants to just have more skills than they give you.
Right.
But and that's just one of those like, I don't know. I cut my teeth on D&D, and so when I was like, "Where's all my skills?" and all the skills are just kind of like under your character classes or all that, or it's just like an attribute check.
Well, your abilities, yeah, everything's
Yeah.
an ability or an attribute check, which I think is
Mhm.
like your character is good at these things, which are their abilities. Your
Yeah.
character is dependent on your stat for the other things, and I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah, the thing that I think is really punishing to those lower level characters though is the fact that you're like whatever is chosen as primary versus secondary really ups that difficulty curve, but where your base challenge level just
Well, yeah,
just shoots up.
you have to get lucky.
Right.
You have to
Yeah.
get lucky if you're not good at something.
Yeah, if you're outside your wheelhouse, I guess. Jeff, what about you? What are your thoughts? Your first time playing in this one shot?
I didn't think it was bad. I don't know if I loved my character, but
Oh, fair enough.
You did make an interesting one.
I did make an interesting one, and he did. They did do some interesting.
I mean, you did
things,
punchify very well. You did all of the combat damage in the game, like all of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My character managed to
No.
capitalize on you disabling other people. That's what my character. Like you were holding down the goblin that one time, and I just went up and whacked him in the head. And I think that's what happened both times. Isn't that also what happened with the spirit? Was the same thing? The skeleton guy was.
I think
Was
so,
you were
yeah.
holding him down, and I went.
I figure if they give me this bonus to grapple, I better use stuff that I'm getting bonuses to.
That's
No, I mean it feels very familiar. It made me want to play more.
Yeah, I think it's good.
So
I think it
yeah,
was good.
so that's usually a good sign.
I think I think I enjoyed the system. Like I said, it did a nice middle road of like complicated enough to have something to grasp onto, but simple enough to where it didn't feel super clunky like D&D does sometimes.
Yeah.
And the character creation was super simple. Like I was really surprised at how fast that went.
Mhm. Yeah.
My only critique, and I'll expand on this later, would be that I think this is a game where you don't want two players playing the same type of character because they're going to be clones of each other. There's not very much variation between in the classes across classes,
Or at least
so.
not at level 1. That's pretty much like.
Is there some classes later?
No, but I think no. I mean,
Then
you probably get more classes the more books you buy. Is probably
right,
what I suspect.
right. Which means no one like you wouldn't want to have two rogues in the same party because you're basically
Yeah.
doing the same. You're gonna be the same characters probably, unless you're switching your primary. You could, I guess that's not true. You could switch your
Yeah,
primary
you can
stats.
switch
Like
your primary stats, and you have things that are better. So there is a little bit, and then
Mhm.
also the other thing that I thought was quite fascinating to me was just when they were talking about like how you built how you looked at your class and everything like that. They suggested that if you're like, well, if you don't see something you like, build a new one. Just kind of mash it up,
Oh yeah, it would
and
be
it's
easy
like,
to homebrew. It would be easy to homebrew.
yeah, like, and that's what I thought
Classes.
Yeah.
was really neat because it's just like multi-classing and a half combined skills to some limitations.
Yeah,
Of two
you could
classes
homebrew
to
the shit
one.
out of this. This is one of those games that you could build your own classes and stuff pretty easy in this because
Oh,
it's all
super easy.
there. It's all there. So
Yeah. So I mean, I think there's a little bit. I think you're probably right that there's going to feel a lot of samey in the beginning, if depending on how you are, because like if you definitely get the two rogues would be similar enough that you'd be like, well, soldier, something else.
well, yeah, you'd have to plan. Like you would have to be like one rogue would have to be like good at lock picking and like pickpocketing or the deck stuff, and then one rogue would be like all intelligence and wisdom
Yeah,
potentially,
possibly.
That would probably benefit the party.
and you'd have one whole character then.
The question would be: is can you have a party of bards? That's really the question.
No,
yeah.
we did that
I mean,
once.
sure. I mean, you can. We know you can. We've done it. We know you can. I mean, and the way
You can even be moderately successful for a while.
and the way D&D 5th edition works, like now they have like combat bards and magic bards, so you can actually diversify your party quite a bit.
And lore bards, yeah, I know.
And your monk.
And your monk.
That's what we had in that game was 4 bards and a monk.
Three bards and a monk.
3 bards and a monk.
Yeah, it was a joke that wrote itself. 3 bards and a monk walk into a tavern.
And then the bards play music.
Yeah, pretty much booking shows. Like that was a different version of Phandelver. Is like, oh, we're going.
Yeah, it was almost going to be better for us to keep booking shows and getting paid.
That's why my character retired, and I played a different character.
It's true. It's true. So okay, yeah. Well, I think we're gonna do a debrief this week. So if anybody wants to see kind of our full thoughts on the system, I know we only really get one shot in there, but we tried to really I tried to test as many aspects of the system as we could. Obviously, the only one that we really didn't get a ton into is the magic and all that kind of stuff. Magic kind of being its own beast in this, but very similar looking from what I read to how some of the
interesting. I think we ran through the rules pretty well. Like you got a really strong idea what it's like. So
yeah, but you know, when you design adventures about trying out things in the rules, it makes it a lot easier.
It's true. I guess when that's the focus, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, well, we appreciate everybody stopping by. I hope you enjoyed what you were able to see there. We of course try to live stream on Mondays, but you know we don't have a game next week yet. So unless I figure out something really quick to play,
and that might be changing. We might be changing our streaming schedule or doing recorded episodes, but we'll let you guys know either through the community comments or a video or something.
Yeah, but we appreciate it. Thank you, everybody for stopping by.
Yeah.
Even if you're only catching a little bit, we hope to see you in the comments and everything like that in future videos.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Insert Jeff waving.
Yeah. See you, everybody.
Have a good night, everybody.